Thank God for health, he wrote. That was the last thing I saw before everything fell apart. Because at that moment, I was lying in a hospital bed, fighting just to breathe. And he was posting pictures with someone else. The cough started small. Just a little tickle in my throat. I thought it was just a cold. But it got worse. Every day it was harder to breathe. One morning, I told Tund. I'm not feeling well, I said softly. He was sitting on the couch, looking at his phone. Drink tea. Rest, he said without looking up. I wanted him to care. But he didn't. The next few days were worse. I barely ate. I was always tired. Tund stayed late at work, then went out with friends. Sometimes, he didn't come home at all. One night, I tried to call him. He didn't pick up. The next morning, I found his phone unlocked on the table. There were messages from a woman I didn't know. They called her Ada. He was laughing with her. I felt like I was disappearing. Like I was invisible. Sick, scared, and alone. Then I was admitted to the hospital. The doctors said I had pneumonia. I was scared. I wanted him. But he wasn't there. Instead, I saw his post on Facebook. A smiling photo of him with Ada. They looked happy. They looked like they belonged together. I stared at the screen. My heart broke in two. I wanted to shout. To cry. To ask why. But I had no strength. That was when I knew. I was truly alone. I didn't ask him where he went anymore. There was no point. If someone wants to stay, they stay. If they don't, your questions just make you look desperate. The nurse came in to change my drip. She smiled like she felt sorry for me. She didn't ask where my boyfriend was. She just looked at the empty chair beside my bed and said, "Do you want more water?" I nodded. The woman in the bed next to me had her husband beside her every day. He brought her fruit. Pressed her feet. Held her hand. He looked at her like she was the only thing that mattered. Sometimes I pretended I was asleep so I wouldn't have to see them. Because it reminded me of what I didn't have. Tund stopped picking my calls completely. He would read my messages but not reply. Sometimes I would stare at the screen, waiting for the typing bubbles to pop up. They never did. One afternoon, the doctor said I was getting better. I smiled a little. Not because of the news. But because I realized Tund hadn't even asked. Not once. He hadn't even texted. How are you feeling? The next day, I finally left the hospital. I took a Kiki home. The sun felt too bright. The air felt heavy. I walked into the flat. He was on the couch, watching something on his laptop. He looked up for 2 seconds, then back at the screen. "You're back," he said. Not "how are you?" Not "I missed you." Just, "You're back." Like I had gone to buy recharge card. I dropped my bag slowly. He didn't stand up. He didn't ask if I needed help. I walked into the bedroom. That's when I saw it. A pink earring on the nightstand. It wasn't mine. It was cheap. Plastic. And definitely not mine. I stood there for a long time, holding it in my hand. Later that night, I asked him, "Was someone here while I was in the hospital?" He didn't even pause the movie. "What kind of question is that?" I didn't answer. I just looked at him. He finally looked up. Then shrugged. "I didn't think you were coming back." That's when something inside me died. Not because he had someone else, but because he had already made peace with me being gone. From that night, I stopped talking much. I cooked for myself. I did my laundry. We slept in the same room, but it felt like we were strangers. Sometimes I would cry into the pillow, careful not to let him hear. I didn't want him to think I still cared. One morning, I woke up and he was gone. He left the keys on the table. No note. No message. Nothing. Just silence. At first, I waited. I thought maybe he needed time to think. Maybe he was confused. Maybe it was the stress. But by the fourth day, I saw his new post. Another photo. Him and her. Matching hoodies. Her hand on his chest. Caption: "When peace finds you, you hold it tight." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I closed the app. I didn't cry that day. Because there was nothing left to cry for. It started with a phone call I didn't expect. My friend Miriam. She hadn't called in weeks. "I just saw something," she said. Her voice was soft. Careful. Like she didn't want to hurt me. But I already knew. "She's with him, right?" I asked. There was silence. Then, there at Lush Cafe. Holding hands. He was feeding her ice cream. I said thank you and hung up. I didn't cry. I just sat there on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. It felt like everything around me had stopped moving. Later that evening, I went out for air. The sun was going down. The road was dusty. The sky was pink and tired. I walked without thinking. I didn't even know where I was going. But I found myself close to the cafe. I told myself I wouldn't go in. I just wanted to see. Just one look. I stood across the road. I saw them through the glass window. Laughing. She leaned into him like they had always belonged. His hand was on her back. That same hand that once wiped tears from my face. Now it was touching her like I never existed. I didn't go in. I turned around and walked away. But something inside me cracked. I didn't even realize I had started crying until a woman on the road said, "Sister, are you okay?" I nodded. I wasn't. But I nodded. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his voice in my head. "You're back." Just that. Like I was never supposed to return. Like I had ruined his plans by surviving. I checked his Instagram again. Another photo. Her, in his t-shirt, smiling in his kitchen. My kitchen. The kitchen I scrubbed. Cleaned. Cooked in. He didn't even delete our old pictures. He just buried them under new ones. Like I was a bad memory he didn't have time to clean up. The next day, I packed my things. Not because he asked, but because I was done asking myself what I did wrong. I moved in with Miriam. She gave me her spare room. She didn't ask questions. She just made jollof rice and told me to sleep. The silence in that room helped me. No judgment. No lies. No fake smiles. Just space. I didn't open Instagram for weeks. I didn't want to see their soft life. I knew it was fake. I knew it was fast love. The type that burns bright and dies quick. But it still hurt. One afternoon, Miriam sat beside me. "You're getting better," she said. I nodded. She looked at me carefully. "Do you still love him?" I didn't answer. Because I wasn't sure what I felt anymore. Love? Anger? Shame? I think I just missed the person I thought he was. Not who he really became. That's when it hit me. He didn't change. He was always like this. I just didn't want to see it. 3 weeks passed. No calls. No texts. No apology. But sometimes, he watched my WhatsApp status. Never said anything. Just viewed it like a stranger peeking through a curtain. I posted less and less. Not because I was hiding, but because I was healing. And sometimes healing means silence. One morning, I woke up with a tight chest, not from sickness, but from memory. I had dreamt of him again. But in the dream, I was back in the hospital. Alone. And he was outside the window laughing with her. I sat up in bed, heart racing. I told myself, it was just a dream. But the truth was, it wasn't. It was real. Not the window, not the hospital. But loneliness. That was real. Later that week, I went to get groceries. I hadn't been outside much. So I tried to look okay. I wasn't expecting to see him. But life doesn't give you warning signs. It just drops pain in front of you like a stone. He was at the back of the supermarket, holding a basket. She was beside him. holding his hand. They looked like a couple from a movie. Her makeup was loud. Her laugh was louder. She looked older. Tired. He saw me first. He froze. I didn't. I walked past them like I didn't know his middle name. Like I didn't remember the way he liked his yam boiled, not fried. Like I didn't almost die while he found someone new. But I felt his eyes on my back. Like heat. Like shame. At the counter, he came to stand behind me. Too close. I didn't turn. Then I heard him say, quietly, "You look well." I didn't reply. Because he didn't deserve my words. Outside, I carried my bag slowly. He followed. She stayed inside. "Are you okay now?" he asked. I turned to him. For the first time in weeks, I looked into his eyes. They weren't as bold as I remembered. He looked unsure. Like someone who knew he had done wrong. "I survived," I said. He nodded slowly. "That's good." I waited. But he didn't say sorry. Of course he didn't. Why would he? In his mind, he moved on. Maybe he thought sick people didn't deserve love. Maybe he thought leaving me was normal. I walked away. He didn't follow. That night, I sat in the dark and thought about everything. The hospital bed. The silence. The pink earring. The thank God for health post. And I asked myself one question. Why was I ever scared of losing him, when he was never really mine to begin with? I was asleep when the message came in. 1:14 a.m. "Are you awake?" It was from him. Tund. The same person who left me to suffer alone. Now typing like nothing ever happened. I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't open it. I just watched the 3 dots. Then they disappeared. And came back again. "I've been thinking about you." I dropped the phone and turned away. But my heart wouldn't rest. It beat loud like someone was knocking from the inside. I waited till morning to reply. Not because I was playing games. But because I didn't trust myself. I was scared that if I replied right away, I'd fall again. Fall for the same mouth that once told me, "I didn't think you were coming back." At 9:02 a.m., I replied. "Why now?" He read it in seconds. Typing. Stopping. Typing again. Finally. "I miss how you cared for me." Not "I'm sorry." Not "I was wrong." Not "you didn't deserve what I did." Just that. He missed the version of me who bled for him. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because he wasn't missing me. He was missing the comfort. The woman who would wake up early and press his shirt. The woman who cooked stew on Sunday and made space for his silence. Miriam noticed I was quiet that day. Did he reach out? she asked. I nodded. She sighed. Don't go back. I know. Do you? She asked softly. I didn't answer. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure. I wasn't planning to go back. But part of me wanted him to suffer. To want me and not have me. To feel the same emptiness he left me in. Later that week, I heard from an old friend. Chuka. He used to be Tun's classmate. But we got along well. We hadn't spoken in months. He messaged me on Facebook. Hey. I don't know if I should say this, but I think Tund is having issues with that Ada girl. My heart didn't race. It didn't jump. It just sat there. Still. I replied, why are you telling me? He said, because I saw what he did to you. And it wasn't right. I didn't ask for details. I didn't need gossip. But it was strange. Tun's posts had slowed down. No more soft life pictures. No more cute couple goals. Just motivational quotes. Things like, protect your peace. Not everyone deserves access to you. Irony. The same man who abandoned me when I needed him was now posting about boundaries. One night, I checked Ada's page. It was public. She had posted something too. A photo of her in his house, but alone this time. Caption. Never ignore the red flags just because you're tired of being alone. I stared at that line for a long time. So it wasn't just me. He was still him. Unchanged. Selfish. Running from one comfort to the next. And yet, here I was, still healing. Still breathing. Still learning how to be alone without feeling empty. That night, I looked at myself in the mirror for a long time. No makeup. Tired eyes. But I saw something new. Strength. Not loud strength. Not the type that roars. But the quiet kind. The one that stays. Even when no one else does. 3 days passed. No message from Tund. I thought that was the end. Until the knock came. It was a Sunday afternoon. Hot. Quiet. Miriam had gone to church. I stayed back to rest. Someone knocked on the gate. I didn't answer. Then again, harder this time. I peeped through the window. Tund. He looked thinner. Sweaty. Nervous. Like someone who wasn't sure what to expect. I opened the gate slowly. Not because I missed him. But because I needed to see his face when I asked him why. He tried to smile. I didn't. We stood there in silence. Then I said, "What do you want?" He scratched the back of his neck. "I wanted to see you." "Why?" I don't know. "I miss you." I waited for more. But that was all. I miss you. Like those 3 words were supposed to fix everything. Like missing me was enough. He looked around. Can I come in? I didn't move. But something inside me was shaking. Not because I wanted him back, but because part of me wanted to know if he was sorry. I stepped aside. He came in. Sat on the edge of the chair, like he was visiting a stranger. I stayed standing. You look good, he said. I didn't reply. He looked around. Is this where you've been staying? Yes. With Miriam? Yes. He nodded. She's been good to you? I folded my arms. What are you doing here, Tund? His eyes dropped. I just wanted to talk. About what? He was quiet for a long time. Then he said it. I messed up. For the first time I believed him. Not because of the words, but because he looked small. Not in size, but in guilt. She's gone, he added quietly. I didn't ask who. I knew. She said I wasn't present, he continued. Said I didn't know how to love properly. That I shut down any time she was sad. I almost laughed. Almost. But it wasn't funny. It was sad. He broke me. Then found someone else. And still couldn't love her either. I sat down across from him. Not close. Just far enough to see him clearly. Tund, I said. He looked up. You didn't mess up because you didn't know how to love. You messed up because you made a choice. He was silent. I continued. You saw me sick. Weak. Needing you. And you left. I was scared, he said quietly. So was I snapped. But I stayed. The silence after that felt thick. Heavy. He lowered his head. I don't deserve you. I nodded. You don't. He stood up slowly. I'll go. I didn't stop him. At the door, he turned back. If you ever want to talk, I'm here.